What is good, everybody, and welcome to the Spam Ruthless Aggression Draft. I'm using this as kind of the way to set up for the Spam Ruthless Aggression show that I'm building. And so we're just going to go basically through this. There's going to be two brands just like there are now. Well, kind of. We're going to have Raw and Smackdown. It's all the classics. So kind of my guidelines for this show, we are going to basically eligibility, anyone that was on the roster from 2002 to 2006, 7-ish. There might be a little bit of wiggle room there, but I'm going to be pretty firm on the 2002 to 2007 time span. So anyone that was on the roster from that period will be eligible for this draft. There are guys I'm still working on that you'll just see in the show later on. But since they're not finished yet, I'm not going to count them. But this will be the official first episode roster for both Raw and Smackdown. We have General Manager Eric Bischoff on this side, General Manager Teddy Long on this side. Obviously, they are representing Bischoff for Raw, Long for SmackDown. That we're going to keep pretty much true to it. As for the rest of the show, pretty much storylines are out the window. We're going to start fresh. We're just going to start with the crop of guys that we have. Any history that they had in the past it does not register. So Triple H obviously held the World Heavyweight title for a good majority of this time period. It will not reflect that he has held it. So we are starting fresh in that way. But yeah, so I think that's where we're gonna kind of go. Still kind of debating. So like there will obviously, so teams that were already formed will still have that kind of edge. So like M&M, spoiler, they will be in the show. Nitro and Mercury will be a team together. There's no need to introduce them as a team. So yeah, let's get right into this draft. Right now it's looking like there's going to be 26 spots or so. I think I actually evened it out to a T, 26 each spot. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. Actually, before we do, the titles that we will have for each show make total sense. It's the exact same ones that were there. There's one little twist, but we'll get to that. So we got World Heavyweight title for Raw. We have Intercontinental Championship for Raw. We have the World Tag Team Championships for Raw. And then we do have a title that was at the very start of 2002, but we have the Hardcore title. I will be introducing that. It will make sense when we do the draft. I think there's some good ideas that we can use with it. Then for SmackDown, the no spinner belt. We have the WWE Championship. Spinner belt maybe will come later, but for now, we're going to be using this. We have the US Championship. We have the Cruiserweight Championship. And then we have the WWE Tag Team Championships. Also, and I guess, I don't know if we're going to refer to these things as WWE Tag. I think we will, just for consistency. Those are the little pieces I'm still not entirely sure of. But we'll get to it. But now, let's get into the piece that you guys have all been waiting for. Let's get into the draft. I'll basically pull from each side and introduce the pick, and then we'll just go through it fairly quick. I'm going to try to make this video under 10 minutes. We'll see how I do. But Raw will take the first pick, and with that pick, Eric Bischoff selects the King of Kings, Triple H. So he is the first pick of this draft for Raw. I think I was kind of floating back and forth, and like I said, I don't want to have preconceived storylines, but I am kind of going with the nostalgia factor too. The way I divided this, I wanted the sides that made sense, and Triple H on Raw was a no-brainer. So now, with SmackDown's first pick, I wanted to be very strategic with this. Obviously, Triple H is a big powerhouse to be off the board, so we have to go with SmackDown with a big powerhouse, and that will be Brock Lesnar. I'm not going to go through and explain every single one of these picks, but I think for the first one, it makes sense. Lesnar obviously had a great run from 2002 to 2000. Do we count WrestleMania 20? I don't really think we do. But let's just say early 2004 and call it that. Obviously, late 2002 and 2003 were really his prime time years, but yeah, important piece for SmackDown to add. Pick number 2, and I know for a fact I'm going to lose track of where we're at pick number wise, but we'll get there. Let's go with Randy Orton. Obviously, I don't know if he's going to join Evolution. Maybe he's on his own. We'll see. All I know for sure is the Legend Killer is on Raw. Pick number 2 for SmackDown. Let's just do it. We can't not have SmackDown and not think of this man from this period. Eddie Guerrero is on SmackDown. He will be joining Teddy Long's brand. Pick number 3. Now, this one I was kind of floating back and forth on which brand, but I think it just makes sense. Pick number 3, we have Edge going to Raw. Now, pick number 3 for SmackDown. This one also, I think, is another no-brainer. He is what SmackDown really was in this time period. But we will go with Kurt Angle going to SmackDown. He's obviously a huge asset for them. Pick number 4 for Raw. You know what? Let's go into the controversial picks. If you saw my Instagram, I did post asking for some ideas. This one wasn't as controversial, but I figured this left a little bit more wiggle room for stories and potential stuff. Pick number 4 for Raw, we are going with Masked Kane. I think it just leaves the opportunity to do an unmasking story like they did. I figured if he was unmasked, it just ruled it out. So I'm going to take everybody. I think the vote was in favor of Masked Kane, so I'm going to stick with that and go with it. And you know what? While we're doing controversial ones that I asked for opinions on, this one was actually a very 50-50 vote. But SmackDown, I think, is going to be getting the Biker Undertaker. Deadman was obviously the other choice. I think it's the same reasoning as Kane. You have the opportunity to do write off the Biker and bring back the Deadman. I think it's harder to go the other way around. So we will embrace the Biker at first. We'll see what happens, because I definitely want the Deadman somewhere involved in this show. Alright, next up for Raw. This one is a very easy Raw choice, because quite frankly, Raw is Jericho. We got Chris Jericho, and this is the custom that Ivy's Custom Figures made me. This is the era of Jericho I think I will probably use, so that's why I'm going to include him. But yeah, Chris Jericho on Raw. Easy match there. Next for SmackDown, and starting to get tired on the voice, so let's see, might whip through this a little faster. SmackDown, Rey Mysterio, no-brainer. I don't need to explain that one. Next up, and what are we at? We're at pick number 6 for Raw. Let's knock out some of the more of the obvious ones. Pick number 6, we have Nature Boy, Ric Flair. He will be joining Triple H, and you know they'll have some fun there. Next up for SmackDown, this one I think will be a good one, because I definitely want him to feud with Brock Lesnar, whether it's for the title or not. I want to throw it back, but we have The Big Show at pick number 6 for SmackDown. I always associate him with SmackDown. I know he obviously had a good run on Raw, but I'm going to go with The Big Show going to SmackDown. Next up, you know what? Let's knock out a tag team. We'll do a tag team for both. Let's do Raw's tag team first, and that will be Cade and Murdoch. These guys obviously debuted and won the World Tag Team titles over Hurricane and Rosie. I think they have limitless stories that I can kind of throw in for them as well. Both are really good characters. Yeah, easy decision. And then I mentioned them in the opening. I want to get them off my table. One more tag team. We have Eminem. Melina is here, but not here. So we got Nitro, Mercury. Easy decision to have this tag team join the show. All right. Back to the Raw side. You know what? He's chilling right here. Let's just get him drafted. I don't think he needs to be this high of a draft pick, but we got Snitsky off the board. we'll see. Maybe I'll have him punt a baby just for kicks and giggles, but it wasn't apparently his fault. Next up on the SmackDown side, we have another guy that I'm drafting way too early, but I think there can be more to do with him in this show than they did in real life. But we got the A-Train. I mean, I guess he lost to Undertaker at Mania, but yeah, he was tagging with Big Show and not the most relevant match of Undertaker's illustrious career. Next up, we will go with... Oh, here's one that I forgot about. To Raw, we got HBK. Obvious choice, Shawn Michaels. I don't think was ever actually on SmackDown during that time period. For sure not in the early years. Maybe late 2007. I don't think so. But regardless, SmackDown's next pick. We got Booker T. He will be a great addition to the roster. I was kind of floating between whether to put him on Raw or SmackDown, because like might have been able to bring back Gold Dust. But regardless, Booker T to SmackDown. Lock it in. I gotta do this a little faster because I am gonna make this a 25-minute video at the rate I'm going. Next up on the Raw side, we got Christian. I think that one makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of potential feuds there. And then, you know what, while we got him here, Christian will also have his problem solver, Tyson Tomko, by his side. Makes it that much more of a done deal for him to be on Raw. Next on the SmackDown side, you know, who are we forgetting? There seems to be somebody that was pretty notable on SmackDown, and I feel bad that I made him slip this far down the draft. But next to SmackDown, we got John Cena. We'll see if he's doing any raps on his way to the ring, or we'll see what we got from John Cena. But it should be a fun John Cena. And then next on the Raw side, we got why not? Two guys I just forgot. So let's plug them in now. Batista going to Raw. We'll see where his allegiance lies. We'll see if he helps Triple H. Same as Randy Orton. We'll see if they join Evolution. We'll have to wait till the first episode to see where that goes. Alright, next up on the SmackDown side, another controversial one. This one I actually wasn't floating on the safe side, but we will go with JBL. It was pretty much a landslide of a vote. Everybody wanted JBL. Sucks because I'm not sure exactly where I want to go with the APA, if I want to use them or not, help the tag division, but I will say SmackDown, they have a good amount of stars right now, but JBL definitely bolsters that quite a bit. Next up on the Raw side, we have got the masterpiece, Chris Masters. I think he deserved a lot better, or at the very least, he should have had an IC title run. Will he get it in this show? We shall see. But he is next on the Raw draft picks. And like I said, I have no idea what number we're at, so we're just going to keep rolling. Next to SmackDown, we got version 1, Matt Hardy to SmackDown. And then next, you know what, just to clear some of these guys out of the way, next going to Raw, we have Rico. Now, will 3-minute warning join him? I'm not sure, but Rico is for sure going to Raw. Next on the SmackDown side of things, we got Orlando Jordan. The Bashrooms will be maybe pulling up as well, so that might help out JBL. But Orlando Jordan for sure going to SmackDown. Next up on the Raw side, we got Tommy Dreamer. I mean, this was a no-brainer when I knew I was going to bring the hardcore title in. Tommy Dreamer is a no-doubter and will be awesome for the hardcore title scene. Next, for SmackDown, you know what? We haven't even touched on the cruiserweights yet, so let's go with one of the best. Chavo Guerrero to SmackDown will help the cruiserweight title scene. Alright, oh boy, we are cutting on time. Next, this was a controversial pick that I actually did not put on my story because I knew what my decision was going to be. If y'all are mad, leave a comment. I honestly don't care. But Muhammad Hassan is joining Team Raw. I hope to give him a little bit better than he got from management with WWE. Obviously, things happened and it was out of his control and it was out of WWE's control. But Muhammad Hassan, I think, was on his way to become one of the best villains of all time. hopefully we get him there on this show. Next up for SmackDown, we have Mr. Kennedy. You know, it's funny, Kennedy's one of those guys that he came on a little later on, I think it was like 2000, well, it would have been late 2005. But everybody loves him. I am mixed opinions on him, but Kennedy definitely needs to be on the show. Next up on Raw, well, I forgot the GOAT, but he's not everybody's GOAT, but he is one of my favorites of all time. Shelton Benjamin going to Raw. You know he'll be in that IC title scene. Next up for SmackDown, who do we got? You know what? Let's knock out another guy that came later in 2005. We got Bobby Lashley going to SmackDown. That one will be a game changer, and I'll be curious to see how we write him in when he doesn't have that ECW to have to worry about. Next up, we have the whole damn show, Mr. Monday Night, Rob Van Dam. He's one of those that I was floating back and forth on. His SmackDown tenure was obviously cut short by that knee injury, so I'm going to let him go on to Raw. We'll see. Maybe him and Kane will find each other again. Next up on the SmackDown side, we got William Regal. Oh God, please stand. William Regal going to SmackDown. He could have gone either way. I think if I had made Lance Storm, I would have put him on Raw. But you know what? There might be a draft coming sometime through this show, so he could be one that could be dealt at some point. Next up for Raw. You know what? Let's jump into this. Tajiri going to Raw. Okay, we're almost there. We gotta get through the cruiserweights. And a couple of the big heavy hitters still. Well, there's a few heavy hitters left for SmackDown. But next up, Luther Reigns going to SmackDown. Then on the Raw side of things, we've got Rhino going to Raw. Next up, okay, let's knock out one more big guy. Heidenreich going to SmackDown. And then on the Raw side, there's some fun ones left on the Raw side. This is one of them. Hardcore title, looking and calling his name. Sabu going to Raw. Cannot wait to get some matches in with Sabu. I think that will be... Those could be some of my favorite ones that we film. Next up, we will knock out some of these cruiserweights. We got Scotty 2 Hotty going to SmackDown. Rikishi will also be probably joining SmackDown once that figure is released. So keep an eye out for that. Next up on Raw, we got Val Venus. He will be great for Raw. I have a feeling that he will be tagged in a tag team with Raw's next pick, who you will see shortly. Next on SmackDown, Paul London definitely will be in the cruiserweight scene. Paul London, one of my favorites of all time in the cruiserweights. And then here's who I was hinting at. The next pick for Raw, we got Big Vis. I love the team of Viscera and Val Venus that they did very shortly, mostly just on Sunday Night Heat. But I think that's going to be one that I definitely want to get involved a little bit more on. All right, we are down to the nitty gritty. Let's do 2 cruiserweights going to SmackDown right now because the numbers somehow got uneven. But we got Jimmy Wang Yang and Nunzio. Now, Jimmy Wang Yang, I still might make an Akio, which might change it up a little bit. Nunzio will be there, and Nunzio may have the family, the FBI be joining him soon. So we shall see how that goes. All right, next on Raw. God, I'm going to leave the controversial pick last. So Raw, this is one of my favorite tandems. We got Stacy Keibler and Test, the newly released Stacy Keibler. I think Test and Stacy were phenomenal together. I want to keep that going, and let's get a belt on Test, because that man crushed it during that era and had nothing to show for it. Alright, next up, SmackDown. How could I forget Charlie Haas going to SmackDown? Easy pick right there. Now, Raw's last pick is a controversial one. If you follow me on Instagram, which you should, it was one I was weighing, and there were definitely mixed results. So I am going to draft him, and then tread extremely lightly. But Raw's final pick, Chris Benoit, just way too influential on this era. Also, sorry he has no hands. I'm still working on him. But just way too influential on that era. We'll figure out the best way to approach with him. But Chris Benoit is on Raw. And last but not least, closing SmackDown out with a bang, we got Carlito, Caribbean Cool, going to SmackDown. That's another one I think could have gone either way, but I think there's a good opening for Carlito on SmackDown, and we will go from there with him. So yeah, that wraps it all up. We're definitely over 20 minutes, but definitely happy with how this went. Excited to get the show going, and I will keep you all updated on what is next, but I'm excited for this show massively. And just stick with my Instagram. I'll keep you updated as much as possible. We're going to try to get filming as soon as possible. And until next time, see y'all later.